Hey everyone, welcome back to more Flesh and Bad, and today we're going to be doing some more Zen gameplay. So we're still preparing for the upcoming calling, which will be in 2 or 3 days. Again, don't know exactly which. But still iterating on some ideas and some lists and some testing things. This list is pretty similar to kind of the last couple lists. I think we're swapping in Bittering Thorns over Flex Claws at this point. Also gonna give Wax On, Wax Off another shot. I feel like that last video didn't really impress me. Maybe it'll impress me today. I struggle with this card. It feels good, obviously, when it lines up, but getting it to line up is obviously quite difficult. And then you're kind of just like playing really inefficient hands when you do it. But maybe I'm just kind of reading a little bit too far into it. Maybe it's actually better than I think it is. So we're gonna give it another shot today. Also throwing just like a random one of Breed Anger. I think Krama was trying this at one point, so wanted to give it a shot. And then we also have two of Censors in the board. I think Censor might be kind of interesting. Uh, it's 2 card 7, obviously, and it's kind of interesting mirror tech as well as like hits random things like Acilio, Azalea. What else? Hits like Crouching Tiger, obviously. Like just some very interesting cards, and it's kind of decent in the new matchup. So I want to give it a shot today. Obviously, it being a Chain Under is kind of like bad, but again, I think the card kind of fits like the weakest link slot where you have like two of your kind of like disruption effects. We boarded those out for now. But yeah, this is the overall list, and then I cut down on like one of Sync, one of Flick, just to make room for the Wax On, Wax Off package. So this is going to be the list for today. If you have any thoughts, let me all know in the comments, and I will get into the games. All right, we have the mirror. All right, for the mirror, let's try out our new tech and see if it's impactful. So we definitely want the wax. Let's try the wax on, wax off in the mirror, just so I can try to illustrate why I don't like it. But we'll try the sensor. Then is there anything we want to board out? Maybe like one of spinning seems fine. Let's try to run it like this. Maybe like even board out all the spinnings. Maybe like 2 growls also fine. Let's try something like this and see how it goes. Again, I have opinions on wax on, wax off in the mirror, and I don't think it's actually as good as like people make it out to be. Because you're running like an inefficient red block card and then another inefficient blue block card, and you're just kind of hoping they line up. All right, not a great starting hand, but Censor is kind of interesting. Playing first Tenchi Moon. This is like an old list. Or I mean, it's not necessarily an old list, but like that's what you used to run with like Bonds of Ancestry and stuff. We'll go ahead and block with the Tiger Swipe here and try to find like a blue. We could potentially like wax off, wax on here. All right, they're coming in with spinning. We're just gonna give the pouncing key block. We could filter extra, but we don't know what their remainder threat is. All right, it's pouncing key. So now we have the choice on whether or not we want to keep the wax on or we want to keep the sensor. I feel like if we have tempo, the sensor is better. So maybe we're just going to wax on this. Wow, 5 value. Insane. Obviously, it was true. But anyways, we have sensor, which is kind of cool. And we find Transcend. They also didn't Transcend turn 0, so that's very, very good for us. So we can get a 1 cost here, pitch the Harmony. Seems pretty good. Forgot to check how many combo cards we're running. We're running 25, which is kind of on the lower end of what I'd normally like. So I wonder if we'll actually be able to get him here. We'll get a 1 cost, so can't get Mauling, unfortunately. Oh, we don't really have a 1 cost to get that we board out the spinnings. Okay, that's good to note. I guess we'll just use Tiger Swipe. Sure, just to get the extra Shuko breakpoint. I'm curious if this is actually going to be impactful. Because if they like block on Tiger Swipe, it gets a lot more interesting. Okay, well now we can name Crouching Tiger, which is kind of legit. Or at least stops him from playing the Tiger this turn. This is like my idea for Mirror Breaker tech over like Weakest Link. But again, I don't know how good it is. It's like not good into like it's obviously good into like Acilio randomly, but we'll just name Crouching Tiger. It's kind of BM. It's a little BM. But I guess it prevents them from like doing like a chase line. Alright, they're sending in the Breed Anger. So we did effectively, well, this is played from Arsenal. So we kind of prevented like 1 extra damage. It's interesting. On our turn, we can go Bittering, Arsenal Passover. I think that might be the play. Or we just take this. Or alternatively, we can just send Mauling. Luck 3. No, I think it's fine. Just send. Feels a little bit weird, but we'll make it work. So we'll do Bittering into Aspect. Kind of get 8 damage, although they have the Flick Flack, so that's pretty good. I do just want to Arsenalist Passover, so we're transcending early and often. Although opponent is not transcended yet, so that's definitely good for us. I could have considered popping Traverse on that last turn in front of the Breed Anger. But then we have to pitch the Passover, which gets a little bit weird. It's definitely something to think about. Alright, we get the Natty Wax On, Wax Off. Well, what does that mean? I feel like it's just better to like use it for pitch and then play out a Sacred Art turn. Right, they have Grain, sure. Transcend, they make a Zen State, which I guess is kind of good. Sure. I mean, it's like okay. Okay, they're not going to do it though. That kind of makes sense. All right, let's go ahead and pass over targeting their block card or like a D-React probably, just so they can't preserve us. Honestly, they might be tempted to make a Zen State here. I know I would be. So we can start with Kakara. Well, if we start with Kakara, then they just throw 12 Petal in front of it. So maybe we don't start with Kakara. Maybe we start with Tiger. Just so the blocking is a little bit inefficient. We can always get Kakara later too. So like we don't need a Kakara now and give them the full 2 value in the Kasaya. It might make like a point of difference. But again, I'm still not convinced by these wax on, wax offs. They just feel like clunky, I guess is the best word for it. Alright, they're gonna make a Zen State. Makes sense. Alright, we're going to activate. I think we're still getting a chase just so we're able to pump over some of our Tigers. Then we'll send it. So they are incentivized to block out here, pretty much. But we're still going to get a lot of chip in through the Zen State. And one thing I've been kind of noticing... Oh, I need to set up a little bit. Alright, so one thing I've been kind of noticing with Zen State in the mirror is it's gotten a lot worse ever since, like, the various bans. Like, it used to be so impactful, but now it's kind of like... It's all... Like, obviously on a Sacred Art turn, it's, like, quite alright, but, like... In a lot of situations, it feels kind of just like you're losing the game. Like, because you can just block so well in Zen that you can, like, kind of just wait through a Zen State. Alright, we have the Arsenal Wax on. They're just sending Stick at us. They haven't transcended yet, I don't believe. So funny enough, we can still, like... They don't have CNC here, so you don't have to play around that. I don't want to use like Traverse or any like real resources here. I think what we're going to do is just 100 Winds, Bittering Thorns, and then we can maybe even make our own Zen State depending on what they do. I think we will just Flick Flack this though. If they have like a 1 cost from Arsenal, it's whatever. So we just block it. Sure. So we'll do 100 Winds, and then we'll Rising Sun, figure out whether it's better to keep Bittering versus something else. Levels, is that better? Yeah, that's probably better. So you get a resource. We can get Tiger Swipe, and then finish on levels for 5. It's not terrible. Like, we're still able to force damage through Zen State, which is like kind of why I think that wax on wax off isn't super impactful in the mirror. At least that's what I found in testing. Like, I don't know, the breakpoints are very weird. It's very hard to like consistently get value out of Zen State. If Tegan feels better, so Tegan's a little bit sick right now. That's why we're not doing Rosetta Rumble. But if Tegan watches this tomorrow, I'm curious how much Zen State this, or I'm curious how much value this Zen State's actually getting. It's like a decent amount. All right, send in another Tiger, I guess. Sure. I guess there's no reason to play this. And then we'll finish on levels for 5. So like the thing with Zen State is you also just have to give up a ton of tempo, which they've kind of done. And now we have like Zen State tempo basically. Yeah, now we can just make our own Zen State. All right, so they're gonna start with Harmony, hit levels. Feels bad. All right, they also have their Sacred Art, so I think I'm also incentivized to make a Zen State here. But the person who typically makes it the Zen State second feels a little bit favored. At least that's what I've kind of found. So this comes in for 1. I think we're fine just cracking Kasaya on this. We could also wait for the Shuko trigger. Is that better? No, I don't think it's better. We're just going to block out this turn. It's going to be fine. All right, they drop it. That's okay. One important thing is they're also not getting a lot of Kasaya mana. All right, Kakara coming in. That's fine. Notably, I think our opponent did Transcend somewhat late. So I feel like that's honestly the biggest factor at play so far. Like, it doesn't really feel like they did anything wrong necessarily. It more so feels like we just kind of got a little bit lucky. So what do we want to hold on to here? They have 1 or 2 Tigers in hand, so they've like Chase. They have to have at least 2 Tiger. Well, they can have Pouncey plus 2, I guess. So I think we'll just leak a little bit here. That's probably fine. I just want to try to play around like CNC or Weakest Link if I can. I haven't really kept track of all the Tigers. It's a lot harder to see in Talishar than it is in paper. I think they should have 1 other Tiger other than this one, which means that card has to pitch. Which it can be a blue, and then they can have Weakest Link from Arsenal, theoretically. I guess we'll go ahead and block with Sensor, I guess. Feels weird. All right, so that was the pitch card. So now this card's Tiger. And then we have 1 unknown card in Arsenal, which could be like a swipe. Which we can then wax on if we need to. So I think we're still fine here. All right, so last Tiger, potentially Tiger Swipe, but we are playing around that. And now we have a lot of tempo. All right, pass back. All right, Harmony, no hit, unfortunate, but they do get Transcend. Yeah, I don't know. Zen State in the mirror is definitely like good. It's just like, I don't know if wax on and wax off is really the best way to achieve that. All right, we have 100 Winds coming in. We have another 100 Winds in Banish. What does this mean? May get like a Winds Attorney or something. They have Tiger in hand, and then 2 unknown cards. So I guess we're just wax on for value. Could do it on the second 100 Winds. Could also just save it though. I think I'm just gonna use it. It blocks 4. It's fine. It's probably not getting more valued than this over the course of the game. Right, they have 1 unknown card in hand, and like we could use Traverse here, but there's no real reason to open ourselves up to a weakest link, I think. All right, Pouncing Key coming in. So now I think we're safe. So let's go ahead and use Traverse, and then know what we're getting. Yeah, one important thing for the Zen Mirror is also just using Traverse offensively. So let's see what we got here. We have Chi in hand. We can get like 100 wins, and then we can do 2. Well, the Winds of Eternity is probably getting pitched because we need to finish on CNC. Which means what? We're getting a 1 cost and then playing the 100 wins, or we are arsenaling it? Yeah, I guess that's the play. We can get our pop Pouncing Buzz too if we really wanted to. No, I think that's greedy. Let's just get 100 wins, I guess. Do the same thing they did. I don't know. It's kind of like a weak reverse turn, if I'm being honest. Like, I generally want to use it when I have Chase the Tail. But I don't want to, like, give up Pouncing Paws. If anything, I probably should have blocked with Pouncing Paws last turn. So let's go ahead and do Tiger. Actually, sorry. Whoops. Play the 100 wins. And then just finish on CNC Arsenal Blue 100 wins for next Transcend. I think makes the most amount of sense. I think there's also like merit to not blocking with Pouncing Paws, because then we have this 3 block up for like a CNC. Alright, the first 10 Chi Moons are spicy. I'll give them that. I haven't seen that card in a hot minute, but I did like it when it was very popular. Alright, this hand is pretty gross. So yeah, I don't think we give a shit about what they're doing. Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere we're blocking here. We can maybe block with... No, there's no reason to. Like, we could get our 1 value here, but I think we're actually just going to kill him next turn. So let's pitch. Just do this. Get Chase, and then draw a card. Alright, can even squeeze in a Kakara. Our turns have been like a little bit inefficient. Like, we have a ton of resources floating and not really a great way to use them. But I think it's still fine. Like, they're at a pretty significant disadvantage just from transcending second, which I honestly think more than any tech or anything is probably the biggest decider in the Zen Mirror. They're running Key Unleash too. Very, very interesting. Alright, we are threatening lethal, so we'll either demand Shuko or something else. It looks like they're probably off of it. That makes sense. I will do a quick rematch, though. The Zen Mirror practice is very, very good, because I think he's one of the better decks now, but I do think that he's one of the harder decks to play as well. Like, he's very subtly hard. I don't think his, like, bread and butter stuff is very hard, but, like, the lines where it's, like, very confusing, I think it's a little bit difficult. Okay, so they do Transcend turn 0, which is probably, like, worst case scenario, but we do have our Transcend, so if we can filter a little bit here, we'll probably be set. And it looks like they are attacking into us, which does give us a lot of filtering. Alright, so I think what they're doing is 2, 1, 1, 1. So the best way to block that is to block with Mauling here. Oh, well, that the Braid Anger is coming in for 2. So I guess we block 2, 2. I guess we just block on the Breed Anger and this. We could lose out on a little bit of damage, but they'd have to go off an Arsenal. One important thing that I see newer players in general doing is like blocking with equipment super early on like a turn like this. But functionally, equipment is just the same thing as life. I think I am going to double block this. Just because it threatens to... like, they can use their last card in hand, but then they wouldn't have an arsenal, so it's like functionally like we're taking a card out of their hand anyways. Alright, so we'll leak 2 damage here, which again is not that bad from a Transcend turn. Okay, leaking a little bit more damage. So they go off an arsenal though. So I think that's fine. We obviously go to 31, which is like whatever. We could have held back, but then we're not filtering. So I think I'm still okay with this because they could have just played that whenever. Okay, what are we doing with this hand? Bruh. Well, is this hand even that bad? I see potential in this hand because then we just shuffle a bunch of chi in our deck, which is kind of funny. So let's Rising Sun. Do we want to preserve or pass over? It's always a risk with this because like they could have, you know, their Transcend, we could have ours. I think. Did we see what Transcend they played? Stir the Pot, right? So I guess it doesn't matter. They got us. They got us. That's fine. All right, gain a resource. So we'll tuck a chi here, right? Gain a resource. So we want to be careful of how many resources we're also gaining. We could also just hold on to double Transcend next turn, which is kind of spicy. There are options here. Flip the camera a little bit. There are definitely options here. Holding on to double Transcend is not terrible. So let's go ahead and see what they got with Kakara. Okay, no blocks. That's fine. So let's activate Zen. Can maybe get like Winds of Eternities here is not bad. It also threatens kind of like the Shuko. So maybe I think I'm gonna IP myself with one of the Chi. Just because like having access to double Transcend can like stuff a CNC, it's obviously just very, very good. And then we can also like make a Zen stay on their turn if we need to, but I don't think that's ever the line. I don't know. This is not bad for us. Alright, follow up with the wins. Alright, blocking the on hit. Okay. Sure. I don't think you ever want to block the on hit on this. I think it like actually never matters. Like I think you just almost always take this. Alright. Yep. Maybe blocking with Pouncing Key just to get it out of their hands, but then we get to have double Transcend next turn. Okay, coming in with the Bittering. So this could be CNC. If it is, though, do we care? I think what we more so care about is Weakest Link, right? So how do we play around Weakest Link? It's a good question. Why did they block with the Pouncing Key? If they have Weakest Link, I guess they could like IP themselves if they can't play it. It's kind of interesting. Like we could actually block this, but then that leaves us a little bit susceptible to whatever they have next. If we want to block like a Weakest Link, we can. So I think we let this hit. All right, it's just Kakara. So then what's their follow-up? Nothing. So I guess we're just going to drop preserve this. We'll preserve Mauling Key back, I guess. And then we're just going to Arsenal the Pathal Trouble at the end of this turn. So this Chi is pitch, this Chi is tutor. So that means we have no float currently. So it's probably best to just get like a 0 cost here. We can see if the Tiger Swipe hits and then like get Pouncing Key. I think that makes sense. Like get Tiger Swipe or like Kakara, Tiger, Bittering, Tiger Swipe, and then hopefully Pouncing Key connects. And then we Arsenal Path. So let's do that. So we'll start with... No, we can't start with Tiger, though. Okay, that's kind of interesting. So we can't start with Tiger because that means that we would break the line and this wouldn't see it. So we'll start with Bittering, I guess. So you have to do it in this order. So I should have just played this first. It's fine. Alright, so the Bittering connects, so we get 2 on the Tiger. It's not bad. We get an extra Tiger for the Pouncing Key. They're being very cautious with their armor usage, which is probably good. All right, so they get Traverse and they get Pouncing Paws, which is obviously a little bit scary. You do still have the Path, though. And then if they get a little greedy here, we can potentially punish them with Kasaya. All right, we just drew the natural cheese. So if they get greedy here, we're probably in a good spot. Okay, this is the optimal Zen state target, at least Sacred Art. So that's very good for us. It also lets us keep our Traverse, which is very, very strong. So I guess we're going to do it. Pass reacts. It dropped. It's fine. Should cause them a little bit of a headache here. I don't know if I've just been getting lucky these 2 games. Like they've drawn their Sacred Art every time I've had access to basically like a free Zen state. I feel like that might be part of it, honestly. Here we're kind of priced into just blocking out. So you start with Tiger. Coming with the stick. That's fine. You just need to be a little bit cautious about disruption here. All right, spinning is also fine. So they have how many tigers in hand? They have 2 tigers in hand, which means that they have 1 float for that, and then this card could be anything. Could be like a mauling. So I'm pretty sure we're just fine blocking here. Like, I don't think we're actually under threat of weakest link, if I'm understanding correctly. Yeah, I think we're actually fine against weakest link. Yeah, so I guess we'll just start blocking. I don't really think it even matters when we start blocking. They come in for 3. We'll go ahead and just cover it. Again, I don't think they have access to weakest link if they want to play this Chases the Tail. So yeah, so we'll just keep covering. All right, Tiger. The 2 blocks in hand are a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. All right, there's the mauling, but it obviously doesn't have the on hit, so we don't really care about blocking it. All right, so they do have the tempo advantage, but we have Zen State, obviously, which is very, very good. Ooh, Pathlotron plus levels. Very, very nice. I think this turn I might be looking to just block with Pouncing Paws. All right, they're going to send in Gakara. I don't think we care. We're just going to make them develop out their hand. So they pitched a Harmony first, or they want to pitch another card maybe? Let's see. I think Zen State is still pretty okay in the mirror. I'll like just camera a little bit. I think Zen State's pretty okay in the mirror still. It's just like you have to kind of find the right time to do it, and sometimes there's not really the right time. All right, so here this is Breed Anger. How at risk are we of getting disrupted? Like, pretty likely. I don't think we need to pop Traverse this turn. Because we already have the cheat, right? Alright, so this, what does this mean? This means they have 2 cards in hand, still threatening Weakest Link. Alright, so this is still threatening Weakest Link. They do Weakest Link. What do? We can block with Traverse and Flick, which is not bad. So maybe that means we just do it. It's interesting. I don't think we need it, though. Like, if anything, maybe I block with this just so we have Chase the Tail online. Alright, Hunter wins. This is also fine. I think we're still fine here, right? Yeah, we can go to 5, I think. Alright, well, levels, pitching, Hunter wins, path. Then activates in. We'll get Chase here, I think is fine. Yeah, I think it's fine if we just use our Pounce Clause to develop out Chase. So we'll do buff go. I think it's a little bit risky. Oh wait, whoops, sorry. We'll do buff draw. Because I forgot to go again. Buff draw. Alright, so this is a pretty good hand. Unfortunately, it does mean we can't Kakara. But I guess that's that's just fine. I guess one other important thing in the Zen Mirror is like keeping your Shuko up. If you can. Alright, Flick Flack coverage is very nice here. So it is going to be able to break the, or is going to be able to block this pretty cleanly if they want to. Alright, we'll go ahead and swipe though. This is threatening another potentially 1 damage on top of this. So one thing we could do, if we want to be a little bit sneaky, is you could do 2-1-4, and that would force them off of armor. But we'd have to sacrifice the Flick Flack if we wanted to do that. I think getting them on the blocking position, though, is like maybe worth it. Maybe it's better than holding on to the Flick Flack. Because they might have to make some bad blocks to try to stay alive here. They have to give us more than 1 piece of armor. So they have to give us either 2 pieces of armor or cards in hand. I kind of like this play, but it is very risky. We're basically turning this Flick Flack into 3 damage as opposed to 4 block. But we're still effectively at 9. Alright. So they have Bittering here, but no Transcend. So what does this mean? If it's weakest... So CNC we don't care, right? We don't care except for damage. If it's weakest, we do care. Well, we don't care because then we can just double block with these. So I think it's fine to just give up armor here. Alright, spinning, which again, I don't think we care about. So I think we're blocking 3 here, and then we're just sandbagging the Wax On, and then just threatening lethal with breakpoints. Obviously, not having Shuko is not ideal, but I think it's fine. We didn't know exactly what they had, so I think blocking there is still correct. So one also important thing I've been told about Kasaya is that they can respond to the chain closing. So I'm not even going to close the chain just because we can always get the Tiger. We'll go ahead and get... I guess we should have played Biting Breeze before we saw what he got, so we can maybe do Chase, but I guess it's still fine. We're missing out on like 1 damage here, which is okay. And then we still have this as a safety net. So we could have So I think the better play here is actually to close chain, or attempt to close chain. If they want to make a Zen state, they can, and then if based on that decision we choose to play Biting Breeze versus not play Biting Breeze. So this Monkey will demand 2 cards. We still have the Wax on, so I still think we're ahead. Alright, on the Chi. Alright, we hit the natty Wax on, Wax off, but it's kind of at the point of the game where it doesn't even matter, right? Like, is this even good? Like, I don't really know. I think it's not good, if anything, right? Because we just want to, like, play this, basically, right? So the Wax on is probably going to cover Tiger Swipe here. So they do 3 into 4, and then we just cover it and we win. Yeah, it seems correct. So this is why I've kind of been saying that, like, Wax on is a better card than Wax off is, I think, in general. But obviously, like, being a blue, you have some strengths there. But this just kills, so I think we're good. I don't know. Wax on, Wax off, like, the two, we should aspect first. The 2 Zen mirrors, or these 2 Zen matchups we played, have not really sold me on the card. It feels like it's just kind of, like, budget flick-flack in a lot of ways. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about it. Like, I am not sold. Yeah, they got it. Still a really close game. Like, they got us down to 1, but we just had a ton of tempo. Let's take a look at their deck and see. So they were not on any weakest links. I guess I could have seen that from the first game. First Tennessee Moon, well, I think is very, very spicy. I'm not like, I think in the current iterations of Zen, I think it's just a little too cute. But like blue 0 cost 3 block is not like terrible. Key Unleashed also quite spicy. So like they've got some stuff going on here. Like I don't think they played incredibly wrong. I think just going second is just like strictly better in the Zen mirror. And we went second both times, so like I don't know. But yeah, like Wax on, Wax off does not seem incredibly impactful in this match. But maybe I just don't have enough reps on it to see the true kind of potential. So Zen mirror, board out the spinnings, and then we want our growls maybe, and then just run it like this. Seems fine. Again, I'm trying to see if Wax on, Wax off is actually good, and I have not even drawn into it most of these games, so it's kind of leading me to believe it's not actually that good. I feel like I'm just gonna block. Oh no, that's wrong. I feel like I'm just gonna block Pouncing Key here. Okay, Kakara. It's fine. We could also give Harmony here if we wanted to. But I think I'm kind of fine to just flick this. See what they do. We might leak a little bit of damage here, but we still get to hold on to Preserve, which I think is important. We can also just take this. I have half a mind to just take this damage. Alright, 100 wins is fine. I think we're going to block with Flick. And then if they want to go off an Arsenal, I think I'm fine with that, with their last card. Holding on to Ancestral Harmony and guaranteeing that we can Transcend on turn 0 is very, very good. So do we want to start with the Biting Breeze? It would force their Pouncing Paws, which is decent. Alternative is we can play Ancestral Harmony and then pitch the Biting Breeze. There are definitely some options here. So I think since they have Pouncing Paws up, I'm less inclined to do this. I'm going to just try to YOLO off the top. Oh my god, just disgusting. Alright, well, that's how you win the Zen Mirror, I guess. We'll put Biting on the bottom. Gain a resource. And then we'll pitch Harmony to just activate Zen and then Arsenal or Chi. And this is kind of what I'm talking about in terms of chaining Transcend cards is probably the most important thing in the mirror. The person who tends to just like Transcend more often or first in the Zen mirror tends to do a lot better than the person who doesn't. And like disruption can be okay, but like the Zen fridge kind of negates a lot of that if you manage it well. So here I'm not playing the second chi, even though I could like develop it out in the deck if I wanted to, because just having access to Transcend every turn is very, very important. All right, coming with the aspects. All right, they get efficient blocks here, which is totally fine, but they still have the tiger coming in. So Flick Flack was pretty solid there, but again, just transcending is very, very good. All right, we'll go ahead and pass. Arsenal or Preserve. Get set up for next turn. Okay, this is looking like a pretty nasty turn. I mean, I'm just going to do it, right? Yeah. So one thing here, we could double Transcend if we wanted to, but I don't think we actually even need to. Like, what if we just win Chakra? Well, no. I think we might want to double Transcend here. It's close. We could also just like win Chakra, Sacred Art, and then just do another chase. It's kind of reasonable. I think I'm just going to do that. Again, chaining Transcend is kind of just what can win you the Zen Mirror more than anything. So we'll start with the Tiger. Alright, they have another click. That's fine. So now I think we want to try to divide up the Shuko so it's not pumping the chase 1 for 5. So we should put Shuko on this Tiger, right? But the flicks are obviously coming in pretty clutch here. Alright, so we divided up our damage, so at least that's the +1 isn't going on the Tiger. That would go to 5. So now it's only going to 4, which is a little bit more annoying in terms of Flick Flack, but they're blocking with the CNC here. What does block with CNC mean? Could not mean anything. Could it also mean they have another CNC? I do generally consider CNC to be one of the stronger cards in the matchup. Alright, but maybe they just want to Transcend. Yeah, Transcend also makes sense. Alright, so it looks like they have Aspected Arsenal, or they're popping Pouncing Paws, one of the two. I don't think we really care. Again, I think we're just going to keep Transcending. We could also... It's a little bit awkward. We have to, like, Wind's Pathol Travel to do it, but I think that's, like, fine. I don't want to double Transcend just because, like, having the ability to always Transcend is so incredibly strong. Alright, no blocks. Again, I'm curious what their Tiger source is. I'm assuming it's Aspect from Arsenal. Yeah, okay. Makes sense. So again, we're still saying no blocks. We could consider blocking with a Tiger Swipe if we want to be a little bit safe against like Traverse Kasaya block, but if they do that, it's just like very low EV. So you're fine with them doing that. Alright, start with the wins. I'm assuming this is a pretty face-up Pathol Travel for them. But we'll see what they do. It's like pretty efficient to Kasaya block here if they draw into Chi. So they could do that. We're still gonna path it though. Gain a resource. Not terrible. And then we'll get Chase Aspect again. Oh, we do only have one Chase Aspect. So I guess the Preserve. So it's interesting. We might actually use a Preserve to put a 4th Chase the Tail back in the deck. Have we played a Chase the Tail like every turn this game? We might have. Tegan will have to watch this back and tell me if that's true. Right. getting some blocks out of them here. All right, we get to chase the tail out of them, which is also very good. And we're still holding on to Transcend for basically chaining it. All right, and now we're naturally drawing into G, which is just disgusting. So we're getting a 1 cost here with Go again, and then sending C and C at the end of it. Seems to make sense, so we'll start with Kakara, I guess. They have Transcended, so they can traverse whenever they want to. All right, we'll get... Oh yeah, we cut our 1 cost, so we'll just get Tiger Swipe here. And then finish on CNC. Curious if they're going to give armor to this. They're being very, very cautious with their armor, which is a sign of a very good player. I guess we're still doing CNC though. Then we're still sandbagging this preserve for whenever we need it. They do have a pretty efficient block with Traverse pouncing, and then they get to keep on holding on to Kasaya plus Shuko. So it's definitely not a terrible spot for them. All right, we find our Wax Off, which again, I don't think is incredibly powerful in the mirror. Oh, we could fuck them up really bad here if we want to. Is that worth it? So is this what Preserve is doing? Is this just gonna bone them pretty bad? They're targeting my Aspect of Tiger body. I guess I'll choose. Seems like it messes their turn up pretty bad. I think this is correct. Preserve Tradition being counterspell is very, very funny. But I'm pretty sure that that was backbreaking. I might just be the luckiest player of all time, because this is like an Omega high roll. Alright, they still have Chase the Tail. That's fine. We'll block with our own Traverse here and then get our own Chase the Tail. I think we're chilling. Oh, we probably could have also blocked with our Bouncing Paws, but whatever. Alright, they do just have the Natty Chase aspect, so we'll block with Bouncing Paws here. So we have potential to do it. Alright, come in for 4, go down to 11. Not terrible. We'll do levels and then Transcend. We can get... Oh, we don't have Chase the Tail anymore. Oh, right, because we use Preserve to target a memory problem. So in that case, we just get Swipe here, I think is fine. We just do Draw Go on this. Draw into a Biting Breeze, which will just get used for pitch. Then we maybe end up arsenaling this. Then we'll do Tiger, Tiger Swipe, and then if they give us Tigers, it's obviously very good for Mauling Key and Pouncing Key. Yeah, so this is a pretty disgusting game. I think we actually just had Transcend every single turn, and then we also like screwed them out of Transcend. I think we're popping Pouncing Paws just to cash in on this damage though. Should force last like armor or last card out of their hands. We could brick though. This at least forces like Kasaya out. Interesting that they're holding on to Kasaya. I guess that kind of makes sense. All right, and we just drew Transcend again. So, important lesson in the Zen Mirror is to just transcend every turn, I guess. Pitch to Kakara. We'll get a 0 cost because we boarded out our 1 cost, I think. Sure. So we'll get Thunder Winds, I guess is fine. Comes in for 4, which is annoying breakpoint. And then we can either censor or we can play out the Tiger. I think we want to actually just hold on to the Tiger just to secure the win. Like, censor should be good enough on its own. All right, we drew the natty wax on, wax off, but it's not even that good here. So I guess what we're doing is Kakara. No, we should Biting Breeze Green, right? Yeah, that's better. So like wax on, wax off in all the games that I've played has not mattered at all. And then I assume we just kill here, right? Yeah. So that was kind of disgusting. Let's take a look at their deck, see if there's anything new in here. So we have Sync Flick, Sacred Art. Yes, pretty standard list, I'd say. But yeah, absolutely disgusting game on my part. Like, look at that average value, just like 20 damage several turns in a row. Pretty disgusting. Yeah, but anyways, I think that's just gonna wrap it up for today. So we got some Zen Mirror games in. And that was kind of what I mostly wanted to test with, the sensor and the wax on, wax off. Which I feel like, all right, so here's my like Zen theory is that all these tech cards for Zen don't really matter as much as you just transcending before your opponent does. Like, I feel like that's like, or, okay, it's not even transcending before your opponent does. If you, first off, it's transcending before your opponent does. Second off, it's who can chain transcends multiple turns in a row after that initial transcend. So, like, if you transcend on turn 1, you block Traverse on turn 2, you draw into another transcend card on turn 3. Like, whoever does that normally wins the game. So, I don't know. I think that while, like, wax on, wax off is, like, cute and fine into Zen, I don't think a lot of the times it lines up, and like running maybe like a bad D-React is kind of whatever. That's at least my theory. Again, I'm still like testing it, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's better than it is, but for the Zen matchup, I don't think it's actually that good. For Aurora, I can see there being like maybe an argument there, but like even then, it's like, are you really just like waiting for these 2 cards to line up while they beat you to death? I don't know. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts for today. Let me know what you all think, and I will see y'all next time.